Hi guys, happy Wednesday. My selfie stick is not my normal one I use, so this one's super wobbly. So I apologize in advance if I might have a tumble. Hope you guys are all well. I can't see in that picture, it's so little who that is. It'll tell me in a minute who it is. But anyways, hope you guys are amazing. I'm going to do my normal that I do, which is I'll answer whatever questions you guys have. People also write throughout the week, so if you guys don't ask me any on here, I will answer those. And if I get too many, I will just private message you guys after. Oh, hi, Courtney. How are you? Hi, Penny. Nice to see you. I see that's who the little dot was. Hi, Scotty. Sometimes I recognize the dot because it's a close-up of the person's face, but sometimes it's really small because it's a whole family, like Courtney's, and I couldn't tell who it was. But so I'll answer questions. I'll also go over what's going on real estate-wise. And yeah, just answer any questions, and then we go over some happy news stuff. So first we will do a question. So again, you guys can write in here questions, but also I answer questions that have come in throughout the week, okay? So the first question comes from Sarah and Jackson and Barry. And Sarah and Jackson wrote, we have a condo in Barry and both work outside of the home. We have no pets and no kids, and we don't plan on either. However, do you think that a home, not a condo per se, is a better investment? Thank you, Sarah and Jackson, for asking. So I'll actually go over that later, like what condos go up and what freehold goes up. And I'm standing in a condo right now, but freehold actually goes up more. So freehold meaning no condo fees, etc. Even sometimes like townhomes, they have an extra fee for garbage and snow removal because say it's on a private road, but freehold, so no fees whatsoever, always goes up more. So if you love your space and you don't care about return on investment, then I would stay in the condo. But if you are all about numbers and want the best return on your dollar, then you will get more in a freehold. That being said, obviously I care about return on my dollar, but I happen to like this condo, so I'm here. So it's kind of up to you guys, but that's my answer for how much freehold goes up compared to condo, but I'll tell you the exact numbers of what they go up later on, okay? I'm great. Thank you, Courtney. I hope you got the lots we sent you today. Happy live, Scotty. I hope you have a great day. I was happy that like there's actually sun in the forecast in the next 10 days because I feel like there's been no sun for a long time. So I was happy that there was sun. Okay, so there was a dog that was dropped off. Again, I just do happy stories before the real estate. A dog that was dropped off in a humane society or whatever they call them in the States. I don't know what they call them in the States, dog pound or whatever. I guess that's not right, dog shelter. And he had seizures all the time. Look at my awful hair. He had seizures all the time, and he was also blind. So again, he was dropped at 6 months. He was a black lab, and they put an ad on Facebook, and a gentleman named Nick Abbott was 31 or is 31 because it just happened. And he is also deaf, like the dog is deaf. So anyways, Nick adopted the dog, and now he's taught the dog like sign language. So like commands, so he can do sit, stay, paw, leave it, etc., roll over, lie down, all just from his hand gestures, which I just thought was cute because they're both deaf, and it's cute. And I hate when puppies, you know, they put them down because nobody will adopt them, etc., and nobody was adopting this little 6-week-old puppy. So I'm happy that Nick adopted him. Okay, so the next question comes from Matt and Barry. And again, you guys can ask questions on here if you want, or I'll just answer questions that have come up throughout the week. So Matt said, we bought our house in Barry for $550 in June of 2020 and got the keys in early September. How much more do you think it's worth right now? Thank you, Matt, for asking. To be honest, it depends where you are, etc., but I'll just say on average. So on average, you're going to be in like 675 to 720 range, which I know is absolutely ludicrous. Because you just bought it. And that's assuming you haven't done anything, but it's just the extreme lack of inventory and the extreme amount of buyers, okay? So that is my range I would give you. Obviously, depends. You might have overpaid for the house when you bought it, or you might be next to a gas station or the dump or something like that, which is not going to give you those numbers, but just in general in a typical subdivision in Barrie, that's what you're going to get and what you should expect, okay? Thank you for asking. Hi, Rodney. Hope all's well. Hi, Wendy. How are you? I recognize some faces. Okay, so the next, oh, it's not a question. We just did a question. So I had one more, I guess, news before real estate. So whether, you know, you're a fight fan. Hi, Nikita. How are you? Hi, Jay. Nikita is always fit mama. She's always doing workouts, and she's a coach extraordinaire. If you guys want some motivation, you can join one of her fitness classes. Hope all's well, Jay. So whether you're into fights or not, again, I just like happy news, so it's not actually about fights, but UFC. So there is a fellow named Dustin Poirier, and he just beat Conor McGregor. And basically in 2018, he started a thing called The Good Fight. And basically he sells his, say for example, his sweater or his shorts or his headband or whatever he's wearing during his fight. And then they give back to local community things. So they've given, since 2018, they've given food for 3,000 people. They've built a whole playground for children that have disabilities. They have given care packages to homeless women, so tampons, etc., Midol, etc., to 100 homeless shelters. They've also fed 500 500 Lunchables, and as well as 500 back to school supplies. And then there's a fellow fighter that I don't know my fighters anymore. Back in the day I did, named Justin Wren, and they said, hey, we're selling our stuff, why don't you sell your shorts, etc. So he started to do that, and since then he has bought 43 acres in Africa, and he donated it to a certain type of tribe, and he's helped them get solar panels there. He's helped them do wells, clean wells, so they can have clean water, etc. So he's just leading by his example. So anyways, I like that. Hello, Mark with a K. How are you? Oh, thank you, Paula. I just did those. Let me see who else is here. Everything is well. Thank you, Jay. Hi, Dakota. How are you? Oh, it's Shauna. Hi, Shauna. Sorry, I said hi to Wendy. I thought it was Wendy. It's Shauna. Hello. Rob and Jordan get their place in a little over 2 weeks, and the selfie stick is going to fall. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, I'm just reading. Ashley, yours is kind of long, so oops. Your question now came up over my whole screen. Buying fixer-uppers or moving north to cheaper areas. To be honest, Ashley, so combination. So we've had some people move, so you're right. It's crazy market right now selling, which I'll go over in more detail later. But people are taking advantage of that, and like I told the other guy, so he bought 550 last year, and then he should expect to sell in the 675 to 725 range right now without doing anything. And basically, let's just say he had only put 5% down when he bought it. So now he has all that extra money to go towards his next house, whether that's his second house or third house, etc. So he has a much bigger down payment. Yes, the price is higher. Or they're putting longer closing dates because we're going to have more inventory. We just naturally have more inventory April, May, June, etc. because tons of people want to move in July and August. And also this year it's supposed to go up 10% at the beginning of the year from last year, but it's only supposed to go up 5% from at the end of the year. So some people are like, well, we're going to put a really long closing and then buy when there's more inventory and when the prices aren't as high. We did have 2 people move out east. And to be honest, I won't give like all the numbers of statistics, but a lot of realtors don't do a lot of business, so they don't understand the current market. So let's just say a house is listed for 550. We can go in there and say, okay, we'll give you 575 right now, no conditions firm, and they think it's amazing. But in reality, if they held offers, they could probably get like 675 or 700 if they waited 4 or 5 days. So they don't realize what the market's like. So then we can buy it for our clients, not buy it for our clients, but help our clients buy. So thank you for asking. I kind of lost track where I was, but I appreciate your question. So I'm going to see if I can find where I was. Hi, Kate. Hi, Diabeth. How are you? Okay. So, I'm doing a reminder for the mortgage giveaway. So the mortgage rent giveaway, so I don't know the date today, the 26th or 27th or something like that. February 1st, which is next Monday, we are going to knock on somebody's door and pay their mortgage or their rent, okay? So you guys can nominate anybody as long as they live in Simcoe County and as long as they are over the age of 18. You cannot nominate a 16-year-old to pay their rent, even though probably should do that. But anyways, if you know a 16-year-old, you can write us. And we've opened it up. So before you used to have to send a video nomination like this, and now you can send a written submission because we know a lot of people are kind of shy on video, etc. So you can do that. The deadline is Sunday night at midnight. And usually, to be honest, we get the most between midnight or 11 o'clock and midnight. But if you would do it beforehand, that would be nice for me and my sleeping. But so just a reminder that we're paying people's mortgage or their rent on Monday, and it can be up to $2,500. They cannot have a $10,000 mortgage, but they can, we just won't pay it all. But if somebody's mortgage is $1,000 and somebody else's $1,500, we will surprise 2 people on Monday, okay? But that is my reminder for that. Okay, so I had a question from Billy in Innisfil. Billy said, we're obviously in second lockdown. And by the way, you guys can ask questions in here if you want. If not, I will answer questions from the week. Billy's question. We're obviously in second lockdown and there's talks of it being extended. I've been laid off and wonder if you have any pointers for someone who has suffered from depression in the past. Thank you, Billy, for asking. I would say about routine, right? So I feel like a lot of people, like, especially if you're not working, get in a rut and they just watch Netflix all day, or they kind of stay in bed all day or mope around, etc. But if you have a routine of some sort, kind of almost like when you were still going to work. So let's just say in the morning, you go for a walk, and then maybe, you're interested in something besides the type of work that you already do. Maybe you're interested in photography and you say, for the next 2 hours, I'm going to watch, YouTube on like bettering my photography skills and this angle and that angle and this lens or whatever. And then, I'm going to obviously have a lunch break. And then for 2 hours, maybe I'm going to look up something else I'm interested in. Maybe I want to learn German, or I wanted this, or I wanted that. Like, YouTube is basically the biggest free university ever, and you can learn tons of stuff for free. Then maybe before dinner, you schedule time that you're going to reconnect with, a friend or a family member, etc. Do a Zoom call, or maybe just call on the phone, etc. Maybe go for a walk after dinner, etc. I just find that if you have set things that you're doing throughout the day and goals, even if you say, okay, I'm going to say what I'm grateful for today, and then I'm going to say these are the things I want to accomplish by the end of February, etc. And you have actual goals, then it just helps, as opposed to randomly. Now it's July 2021 and you haven't done anything because you really haven't made any goals, so your mind hasn't had anything to work towards. I hope that wasn't too long of a run-on answer, but hopefully that worked for you. But thank you for asking. Hi, Les, how are you? You can do, video or email, Mel. Thanks for asking. I'm sorry, my wobbly selfie stick. Hi, Margie. How are you? Hi, Kate. I think I said hi to you already. I hope you and Corey are well. Hi, Kennedy. Hi, Dana. How are you? My day is amazing. Thank you. Okay. My silly, wobbly selfie stick. I go through selfie sticks like there's no tomorrow. Hi, Jim. How are you? I know it creeps people out when I say hi, and sometimes they think I can see them. I can't actually see what you're doing. I can see your profile picture bubble. I cannot see if you're in the washroom or having a bath or picking your nose, etc. Okay? Because I know that some people have messaged me after and asked if I could see them at the time, which I cannot see you guys, okay? Okay, one more thing before real estate is if there's any tree huggers out there. The largest tree in Toronto, which is supposedly 250 years old, it is 78 feet wide. It's a red oak, and it's 17 feet around its trunk. Somebody just bought the lot recently, and so they were going to cut it down and build a house. And then over 1,300 people donated money and kept petitioning, and to the city of Toronto, etc. And the city of Toronto said, "Okay, we will buy the lot back from these people." Like, let's just say they raised $200,000, for example. It didn't say how much they raised, but if they raised $200,000 and it cost the person $1.2 million, they'd say, "Here's the other $1 million, and we will buy the lot back and have like a little mini park and keep this oldest tree in Toronto so they don't turn it down or tear it down." Hi, Dad. How are you? Dad, I have a eye thing later on for you, so you have to stay watching it. My dad did glaucoma and cataracts before he retired. Okay, so now we are doing real estate stuff. So I'm going to get to the right page here. Okay, so the top 3 biggest cities in Canada, so obviously Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal, actually had a decrease in their population in 2020. So they still obviously had immigration, but Toronto had the highest decrease in population, which was 50,375 less people in 2020 than 2019. And Vancouver was second for decreasing population. They decreased just over 24,880 to be precise. And obviously not everybody is leaving Toronto because of COVID, etc. Some people are fine staying, but we're not having like the normal foreign students that we have, foreign visitors as well. What am I missing? Oh, and then immigration is not as high as it was supposed to be. And I never knew how many students came internationally to Toronto. I have a rental in Toronto, which has gone, for rental wise, it was always rented nonstop Airbnb before from people coming from Europe, China, South America, etc. I basically feel like they would do those 3 cities, like a week in each city and visit them. Montreal, they come to Toronto, visit Niagara Falls, go to Vancouver, etc., which is not actually coming, but I didn't know the actual number. So in 2019, 828,000 and change students came to Canada to study. So obviously you take that out, then there's another decrease in population, even if it was a temporary one in Toronto. Hi Maddie, how are you? Hello JT, how are you? Hope all's well in the States, you're staying safe. Okay, so obviously a new trend now is bigger yards. Basically people are getting as much as they possibly can. So whatever the biggest is they can afford. Like Maddie said, good thing we bought last fall, which is true. I forget that was yesterday when you were on my live or somewhere on the weekend. So it's true that, like that guy that asked earlier. So the houses that were selling last year, March, April, May, even all the way up till fall, even December. There was somebody on Wellington the other day. They just got possession at the beginning of December and they just listed it for 110,000 higher and they're holding offers, which is insane. But basically people are looking for bigger yards, larger homes. And to be honest, this happened even before COVID. It's just been kind of fast tracked since COVID. So a reason it's happened kind of before COVID as well is because millennials, a lot of them are at the age they're having like their first and second child. So a lot of them live in Toronto already and now they're realizing, okay, we did the Toronto thing, we did the whole condo party, etc. And now they want to do more suburb, family, married, etc. life. So they had already started it and then it obviously got fast tracked with COVID and people working from home and wanting to get out of the city, make more money for their dollar. Hi Barb, how are you? Hi Gillian, hope you guys are well. Okay, so oh yeah, so if we look at prices in Toronto versus Barrie, Oshawa, they basically check 3 cities. So they checked Toronto, besides Toronto. Then they did Barrie, Oshawa, and Burlington. So Barrie, Oshawa, and Burlington every single year for the past 5 years has gone up more percentage-wise than Toronto has. So some people were like, well, why would Toronto people move up here if our prices are going up higher? Why wouldn't they just stay where they are if they like the city life? But once they get into up here, which our average sales price is about half of theirs, then it goes up faster than Toronto. So it's kind of like a win-win. They can buy for cheaper, plus it goes up more, whether it's 13% a year or 17% a year. And if Toronto's only going up 8.2%, for example, so that's another reason. So those are the 3 cities that they checked. So last year in Canada, for example, 2-story homes went up over, they went up 11.2%, and the average was just over 840,000. Hi Ted, how are you? Bungalows went up over 10%, and then condos went up 3.9%. That was somebody's question earlier on today, was if they should move out of a condo even though they don't actually need a house, just because freeholds go up more. And I just said it was up to them if it's more like dollar-wise or their quality of life or what have you. I live in a condo even though I know that it doesn't go up as much as a freehold, but it works for me and I liked it and I like the view. So, and then in the GTA, so not right downtown Toronto, but in the outskirts, in 2020, the 2 stories went up 11.9%, the bungalows went up 12.8%, and the condos went up 3.6%. Basically, they're just saying, like all economists across the board are saying, that people are looking for as big a space as they possibly can get for their dollar. So for their home office, for their home gym, to school the kids, have a bigger yard, etc. It seems to be, that's just what everybody's looking for. Everybody's checklist seems to be the same right now. And as I'm sure you know, a lot of developers obviously either completely put a halt to their building in 2020, or they at least put the brakes on it a bit. Now the problem with that is there was a bunch of people that were supposed to close the end of 2021, and it's expected that 8,000 homes will not now be able to be finished just because of the slowdown in 2020 because of COVID, which means then obviously we're going to have more people that need places to stay, and since we already have a lack of inventory, that is not going to help with that, right? So I've said in lots of videos before, some people have seen, some people haven't, that they're expected to do 1.2 million of immigration in the next 3 years. So 400,000 each year for the next 3 years coming into Ontario. And obviously, so what they're saying that equals basically is that they need 1.8 million homes, which is a lot, but in 24 years. And they're saying at the rate that we're going, we're 12,000 short per year, which is over 288,000 homes short by the end of that time. So again, our lack of inventory is not going to go away. We're going to have too much demand and not enough inventory. They're not building fast enough, okay? So they said even though immigration slowed because of Corona, they're still expecting that Ontario's growth is still planned to go up 50%. Not like in a year or anything, but in the next 5 decades, obviously, which is a lot of time. But they still, again, are 288,000 homes short in the next 25 years. In Canada, last year, there was over 550 homes that sold. 551,000, not 550, 551,000 homes that sold, which was up from 2019, and that was up 12.6%, okay? They just did an article last night, actually, from Toronto, but it was titled, Barrie is now one of Ontario's most sought after real estate markets. Yay, Barrie. So that was amazing. A bunch of things they said, but they said the affordability factor, they said location, distance to lake, distance to ski hills, distance to shopping, distance to Toronto. I would add in there distance to cottage country. And they also said our healthcare, as well as the amount of parks around here and green space, was the main reasons that they said, which is great. And then obviously affordability. And they also said, the main thing they said was they just couldn't beat out the prices for the value in Barrie. So that's good. Hi, Sean. How are you? Hi, Danielle. Hope you are well. Just seeing, just checking who's on. All right. So Barrie, like they, said, it's the most sought after. So who's moving to Barrie? Is it just first-time buyers? No. So there's first-time buyers, there's retirees. It's multiple people obviously looking for, affordability, although the average age in Barrie is much younger, for example, than Orillia. So we do have a lot of first-time buyers. That could also have to do with the college because of the amount of students that we have there. But also for investing, because Barrie has teetered between the third highest rental place in Canada, my words aren't working, to the sixth. So it was sixth last year. So people from Toronto often will come up and they're like, what can we rent this place out for? And they think it's like $400 or $500. I'm like, no, that's $2,100. And they just can't believe it because they're buying it in Toronto, let's just say for 1.6 million, and they're renting it out for 2,500. And then they come up here and they buy something for 400,000 and they rent it out for 2,300, So it's investors too that are coming up here as well. Another side note, I don't know if you guys knew, but Canada, our real estate is more than 40% higher on average than US real estate. So the average home in the States in 2020 was $350,000 US dollars, which is just over 420,000 Canadian dollars. And then our average, Canadians' average sales price of a home is $617. So 420 in the States, 617 here. So over 46% higher, our homes have more value. Yay. Hi, Candace. How are you? Hi, Katie. Candace, sorry I haven't emailed you back yet. And Katie, hope the boys are well. Okay, so interest rates, obviously, many of you have heard that they're supposed to stay low until 2023. And if somebody was making the exact same money that they were making before they did all the changes, what it means is that they can afford 25% more. So if they were, approved at a $400,000 house, they just times it in their calculator on their phone, 1.25, and then that's their new approval, basically with all the new rules and stuff. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Hope all is amazing. Okay, so interest rates. And so I talked a bit before that economists are thinking that, so as a whole, they've said that they think the whole year is going to go up over 16%, 16.4%. They think on average that it's going to be around 10% in the beginning of the year and 5% at the end, which makes no sense. That averages to 7.5. But one of them was off of Canada and one of them was off of Simcoe County. So there you go. So a lot of people are taking advantage of the hot market right now. They're selling, again, putting longer closing dates. They're not putting closing dates of March 1st. They're putting closing dates like June, July. We even have a couple in August. We had one in November, which is crazy. And then in that time, when more comes on the market, that's when they're looking to buy. And I'm reminding you guys about the mortgage giveaway. Hi, Romy. How are you? About the mortgage giveaway. So we're not giving somebody a mortgage to pay. That would be very rude and mean of us. But February 1st, we're going to go knock on somebody's door, whether it's one family or two, depending on the price of the person's mortgage, and give them a check for their mortgage or rent payment, whatever the case. So if you want to nominate a friend or a neighbor or your sister or a coworker, etc., somebody you think that is deserving, please email us at info@crippshomes.com. You don't have to have any relation to Cripps Homes. None of the people that won last year we gave $1,000 every month and knocked on somebody's door. But this year, over the Christmas holidays, we did 4 giveaways to 4 different families. And a lady called in and she just loved what we were doing. So she wanted to donate an extra $1,000 to up our $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And then somebody else called and they wanted to give $500 a month. So that's why it's now up to $2,500. So we'll pay people's mortgages or rent up to $2,500 a month for the entire year, because those gracious ladies, local ladies, have donated for the whole entire year. So it's not just for 1 month, okay? Have banks changed their approval process? Are the first home buyers expected to pay something more? It depends, obviously. Yeah, it's super hard to get into the market. I don't doubt that, Ashley. Usually first-time buyers, to be honest, are more going towards condos. So even the new condo builds are kind of getting rid of the like 400 square foot, 500 square foot, 600. They're trying to get bigger just because they know that now people need that flex space, that office space, or maybe it's like 2 friends living together, etc. It is super hard to get a pre-approval for $700,000 unless your income is really high, or you have a high down payment. Sometimes people will get a co-signer, but we're finding a lot of people are cohabitating. So they're moving in with their best friend. We've had quite a few people actually this year, I'd say at least 5, that it's like 2 best friends and then the one brother. So the brother lives in the basement apartment, the 2 best friends live upstairs, and they all split the mortgage, etc. If they had done that last fall, for example, in that other gentleman's example, the 550 house, and now it's worth 675 to 725. They all have that equity split, which is awesome. Whether they go their separate ways after that or just refinance, pull it out, and maybe buy a rental house together or what have you. There's different options for people. And then some people, like I said, they'll buy with a co-signer, and then maybe they'll rent out rooms because room prices are obviously up, just like everything is up. So they might rent out each room. I know there's a new build over on 27. He's renting out the rooms for $850 a room, and then the ensuite he rents for $950. If you're closer to the college, you're going to be more around the $600 to $675 a room price. So it just helps pay the mortgage. But thank you for asking. Hi, Alicia. How are you? Hi, Farid. So in Barrie, in the last 24 hours, there's been 15 new listings, which is good because we have extreme lack of inventory. 14 of them, however, are holding offers, so it's a bit frustrating. 1 sold conditional in the last 24 hours, 8 already sold firm, and they don't have to be from those 15. It could have been from ones in the previous week. It just happened to be that 8 sold in the last 24 hours. And 2 people got the keys to their property, so it was actual closing date. Tuesdays are not normal closing dates. Usually they're on Friday, so that makes sense. And then in the last 7 days, there's been 45 new listings in Barrie. 4 have conditionally sold, 37 sold firm. 21 people got keys. It doesn't mean they just bought in the last 7 days and they already got keys. They obviously could have bought back in November of last year or what have you. 6 people canceled their listing and 2 got suspended. I'm just going to check again, and I apologize for my wobbly selfie stick. I just want to make sure that I've seen all questions. Wobbly, sorry. Okay, so again, extreme lack of inventory, but tons of buyers. So great when selling, frustrating when buying. However, majority of people are just putting longer closing date and then waiting till the natural when we have more in April, May, etc. Because most people don't want to move when it's snow squall central, as well as we're also supposed to be all staying home, even though they have deemed real estate essential. And somebody asked me about that the other day, actually, and they're like, I can't believe you're showing homes right now. But in reality, if we weren't showing homes and the other people had sold their home, then where do they then move to? So if they say, okay, those people that sold their home and that have to move, you can show them homes. But then those people, now that they bought their homes, where are those people going to go? So it is just a domino effect. So that's why they've just deemed this essential, because then where are those people going to go? You can't just say, oh, you buy the house, but you get to stay with those people, obviously. So that's why it just keeps going and people keep moving. I forget if I was on Barry Condos. In the last 7 days, there's been 3 new listings, 8 conditionally sold. I know if there's only 3, how did 8 sell? Because obviously there was more that were listed the week before. 7 sold firm, 15 people got keys, and 1 suspended. Alicia, for example, I'm just going to say, because like say waterfront homes like we were looking at, basically homes that were like $1 million are now like 1.35, 1.38. So it's just crazy because lack of inventory. So that is what's happening. And then tons of people obviously wanting to work from home and realizing they can work from home, or people just realizing COVID's crazy and they want to live a different life and maybe they're not comfortable getting on a plane, etc. So they want to have more of that staycation here, whether it's an amazing backyard or living on the waterfront, etc. ESSA, in the last 7 days, there's been 8 new listings. 3 have conditionally sold. 9 sold firm. Again, some could be from prior weeks. And 4 people got their keys. In Innisfil, there was only 5 new listings in the last week. And to be honest, like when we say that 5 new listings, just at our office alone, we have more than 5 buyers. Like I'd say we probably have, I'm going to guess and say like 27 to 29 buyers. So for there to be only 5 listings doesn't make sense. Plus then there's over 1,000 realtors in Barrie alone, and then there's over 87,000 realtors in Ontario. So it's just, there's too many buyers and not enough places for them to buy, okay? So of those 5 new listings, 2 conditionally sold, 17 sold firm. Again, not necessarily of those new ones. They could have been listed 2 or 3 weeks ago that now sold. 5 people got their keys and 1 canceled. Hi, Glenn. How are you? Okay. Let's see where I am here. I almost need some water. In Oro, there was 4 new listings in the last week, 2 conditionally sold, 4 sold firm, and 5 people got keys and 1 person canceled. And just so you guys know, this does stay on my Facebook. It doesn't delete. So if you guys miss numbers or you want to write numbers down or what have you, you can do so. And if you're not comfortable asking questions on here, you can just message me, etc. Or you could email us at info@crippshomes.com or Kristin@crippshomes.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. You don't have to be a client of ours, whatever, okay? In Springwater, there was 4 new listings in the last 7 days. 3 conditionally sold, 6 sold firm. Again, some could be from past weeks, and 6 people got keys. For anybody who's like watched these before, lots of times I would say like certain ones were suspended or certain ones were canceled or certain ones price reduced or whatever. And if anybody's noticing, I'm not saying that because nobody's canceling, nobody's price reducing, nobody's anything. They're holding offers. So basically, like we listed a home today and we're looking at offers on that on Monday. And we're listing a home tomorrow and we're looking at offers on that on Tuesday. And we're listing another home tomorrow. We're looking at offers on that one on Thursday because it's further up north, so we figure people need more time to drive up there. We're listing one on Friday, looking at offers on Wednesday. So basically, that's what everybody's doing. They're holding offers. And if people wonder, like, what if I overpay for the house and whatever, basically your realtor will always show you comparables on the property. So they'll say, these are what other ones are selling for, and then what are you comfortable paying? And let's just say the other ones are selling for $650. Somebody might come from Toronto and they might pay $850 because in reality, they just sold their condo, which was puny, and they're coming up here and they think this is amazing, whereas we think $850 is overpriced and there's no comparables that show that, which is true. The only problem that those Toronto people will have is the bank, which goes to then the underwriter, which is above the mortgage person, will say, yeah, there's no value at $850, so you have to come up with the extra. If they have that extra, that's fine. If they don't, then obviously they won't get financing, right? So that is basically what's happening. Okay. So question 5, not 5, next question from Julie in Angus. So Julie says, I followed your social media for quite a bit and you do investments and developments, etc. What advice can you give someone who wants to do it but finds all the options a bit overwhelming and doesn't want to make the wrong decision and lose all their money? Thank you, Julie, for asking. To be honest, there's lots of research and homework, right? So some people will ask me like, hey, I actually had somebody yesterday and it was in the French River and it's like this gorgeous timber frame home. And he's like, oh, I could rent this out for $20,000 a month, Airbnb, it'd be so amazing. So I'm like, maybe, but I have no idea until you actually research there and you go on Airbnb and you look and okay, these are my neighbors. Let's just say you want to rent it for $500 a night, but somebody down the lake is renting it for $199 a night, and you look at their calendar because you can see their calendar and you can see they've only rented 4 nights out of the whole month. I don't know how you're going to expect to get 500 when they can't even get $199, right? Also, you might want to charge $280 for cleaning fee and they're only charging $29 for cleaning fee. So you have to look at your competition to see what you're against, see how much they're booked up, I should say. See, do they have 500 reviews or only 2? If they only have 2, then obviously not many people are booking with them, which is not good for you. Either they're overpriced or maybe they're a new listing. Or if you want to rent it long term, you need to see what's been renting up there. You might say, I'll rent it again. People just make up numbers and they see things on shows. So they're like, oh, I'm going to rent it for $3,000 a month. But meanwhile, then when somebody looks it up, it's only been renting for $1,700 a month. The neighbors that's similar, or maybe it has a pool and is even nicer. So you have to just do research to make sure that what you think is viable actually is viable. And I always go off worst case scenario. So don't go off the best case scenario that you're going to make $5,000 a month, for example. If the worst case is $1,200, go off of the $1,200 and see if that makes sense for you and if your numbers make sense, etc. Then that's fine, and I would do that. Okay. Hi, Rob. Oh, good. Thank you, Glenn. I'm glad it's helpful for you. Oh yeah. So you don't want to lose your money. So research. And then flipping wise, for example, again, it's just research, seeing what they're selling for. We had somebody, for example, that did all this insulation. And so they said it has crazy R value. It's this, that, the other, which is great. But unfortunately, it had an old kitchen, an old bathroom, and people don't see that. And just reading, oh, save money on your hydro bills and blah, 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 whatever, R58, I don't remember the insulation, R value. They don't care. They want to see the kitchen is pretty, the bathroom is pretty, the floors are pretty. They will ask you, like, when was the roof done? When was the furnace done? When were the windows done? But they're very visual creatures. So if you put all this extra insulation in the attic, or you put some extra sound barrier or whatever, to be honest, you're not going to get the same return for money that you would for something visually that they can see, okay? Also, if you want to go on Amazon, Julie, if you just type in my name, so Kristin Cripps, and Kristin has an I, I have a book on there, and it's Investpreneur. I had to think there for a second. Investpreneur, and it basically goes through, if you keep a house, do you rent it short term? Do you rent it long term? How do you find tenants? What do you do to set up Airbnbs? And if you're flipping, what kind of location do you look for? Do you look for city centers? Do you look for cottages? Do you look for close to, subways, etc.? And it just goes through everything. So if you want, I think there's like an e-reader version on there, or you could get it delivered to your property. Okay? But thank you, Julie, for asking. Do you recommend long-term or Airbnb type rentals? Ashley, so to be honest, I switched mine over. I started 3.5 years ago, not started ever, but started doing Airbnbs. I started doing long-term rentals 11 years ago in Barrie. And then 3.5 years ago, I started to switch to short-term. And then last year, every single thing that I couldn't switch to short-term, I sold. And I do all short-term. So short-term, you make basically the same amount in 1 week that you would in a whole month doing long-term. However, you do have more headache, right? Because you obviously have more turnover. So if you have a long-term tenant, they are probably going to contact you maybe once a year, and they'll say, our dishwasher stopped working, or I don't know, lightning hit a tree and a tree branch fell on my car and now whatever's damaged, and can you fix it? So once a year from long term, whereas short term, obviously if they're staying 2 nights, 5 nights, etc., there's a lot more turnover, and also they don't know the property. So they're like, how do you turn the fireplace on? There's no pizza cutter, there's no shovel, or I thought that there was a Bluetooth speaker and there isn't, or where's the extra sheets, or whatever. So it's kind of like no pain, no gain. So is there more money in short-term rentals? Absolutely, all day. However, there's also more things to do in it, more headache, etc. You could, if you wanted, hire somebody like in a different country, like the Philippines, etc., to do it. There's services like that if you don't want to deal with it at all. But to be honest, like on Airbnb and stuff, there's things that are you can just save them. And so literally you could just say the address was Main Street. You could have Main Street check-in information, which have the lockbox, etc. You could have Main Street, how to use the fireplace, Main Street, how to get a parking permit, Main Street, how to run the laundry machine, etc. So you could just like tap it if need be. So it's not like you have to type it every single time. So that's handier. And obviously it's from an app. So if it wasn't COVID and, for example, you were in Greece or something, you could easily just touch it and you don't have to be like 2 minutes away. You would have to have a cleaner, obviously. I have cleaners for all my properties. It's not one cleaner that goes to them all. That's impossible. So I have one set cleaner for each property. And some properties need two cleaners because, say, the cleaner isn't available, or say it's a super mess and they need an extra person, etc. It's kind of handy to have an extra cleaner, or it's somebody's birthday or whatever. It's just handy to have an extra cleaner if possible. And just so you know, Airbnb doesn't take any money off your cleaning fee. They only take money off of your set fee per night, which is 3%. So if you charge $100, they take $3. They also charge an extra fee on top of that to the clients, but that doesn't affect you at all. So let's just say they charge the client $60 extra on top of your $100. That doesn't affect you. And then of your $100, they take $3. If your cleaning fee is $50, they don't take anything of that. And then you can set up your cancellation. If you want to give full cancellation, full refund, whatever. I have mine set up. If they cancel in the first 48 hours, they get their money back, and after that they only get 50% back, because it's annoying. If it's the day before and then they cancel and they were supposed to be there for 2 weeks, that's annoying. So at least I have 50%, and then I can rent it to somebody else, and then I get that 50% plus the full amount. So I actually get 150% of, so I don't mind when people cancel. And then even if they cancel and I don't book it, at least I have the 50%, and sometimes I'll go and stay at it or what have you. But thank you for asking. Hi, Sean. How are you? Okay. Where was I here? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah. So basically, I don't know about you guys, but I can't walk 3 feet without kind of tripping over things. And there's a fellow in New York City. He's blind, and he lost his vision to some genetic disorder in his 20s. Now he's in his 50s. He ran a half marathon, which is 21 kilometers, and he ran it with 3 seeing eye dogs. He basically started this thing called running guides. So it's dogs specifically to help people run that are blind. But he decided how it would be neat if he could run without a dog, even though he loves dogs. So there's actually an app, and it tracks where the person is. So I don't know how with artificial intelligence. I don't know. I'm not techie like that, but it would tell the people turn left, turn right, etc. So he just ran a 5K race in Central Park in New York City without any human person telling him to turn left or right, or dog telling him to turn left or right, which I just thought was cool. And again, I like random happy news, not just real estate. But if people for real estate, again, I'll keep answering questions. But if you miss the numbers and you want the numbers, you can just watch this. It'll stay on my Facebook wall, okay? Okay, so the next question is from Trisha in Midhurst. Trisha in Midhurst said, I know you're paying someone's mortgage off next week. How can you pay that amount every month, and how can I nominate somebody? Thank you, Trisha, for asking. I just want to clarify, we're not fully paying off somebody's mortgage. So if somebody owes $600,000 on their mortgage, we're not paying $600,000 on Monday. If their payment is $2,230 or whatever a month, that is what we're paying. We're not paying the entire mortgage off, okay? Just whatever their monthly payment is. So again, you could nominate somebody. You just have to email us at info@crippshomes.com. Back in the day, we used to make you do a video submission, kind of like I'm doing right now. But now you could do a written submission. So you could just say, Trisha, I forget your name, I apologize. Yeah, Trisha. Say, I, Trisha, would love to nominate Marcy. She has been my bank teller for years, and she always makes me smile, and she's a single mom, and blah, blah, blah. And just so you know, we don't ever tell people's personal information. So let's just say you tell us something tragic about her. We don't tell that personal information or hardships. They don't have to have gone through hardships. They could just be great human beings or loving or supportive or caring, etc. They don't have to have gone through a hardship, okay? But thank you for asking. And again, it's to info@crippshomes.com. You do not have to know crippshomes.com or Cripps Homes at all, or Cripps Realty, etc. And none of the people who have won in the past have ever had any tie to us. Which I'm sure our clients wish that it could only be our clients, so they'd have a better chance, but it can be anybody in Simcoe County, and you don't even have to live in Simcoe County to nominate. You could live in London, England, and nominate somebody, okay, as long as the winner lives here. Thank you for asking. Some people know back in the day I had a pit bull for 12 and a half years named Floyd. He was very handsome. He died because of cancer, and I'm only mentioning it because his name is Floyd. And obviously a more well-known name of Floyd is George Floyd. And of course, I'm sure everybody knows what happened to him last May, which was tragic. And again, I like happy news, not tragic news. But the reason I was bringing him up is because he had a 7-year-old daughter named, I don't know how to pronounce it, Gianna. And basically I was saying it because there was a Brooklyn Nets player. He was like a front guard or point guard or something like that. I don't know sports. Kyrie Irving. And again, I apologize, not a sports person, don't know his name. And he just bought him a house. Not bought him, bought the family. The little girl obviously can't get a house yet, but bought them a house, which I thought was great. Also, Lil Wayne, the rapper guy's manager, bought them a car, a Mercedes. Barbra Streisand gave them a bunch of stocks in Disney. Texas gave her a full scholarship. And then also they started a GoFundMe account for this little girl at 7, and it's already got $2.3 million in it. So anyways, I just like happy news like that. If you guys, again, have any other questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble about my things. So the next question comes from... oh, no, I didn't have a question. Oh, yes, I do. I lied. Danielle from Barrie. So Danielle from Barrie said, why do you think so many people get in a rut and don't believe they can do something? How can they get past that? Thank you, Danielle, for asking. Love the stats, but love the happiness. Oh, good. I'm glad. Thanks, Melanie. So Danielle said, why do so many people get in a rut and don't believe that they can do something? I think a lot of people, have either put themselves in a box or somebody else has put them in a box. Like maybe their parents have told them their whole life, like, you're not pretty enough, or you're not smart enough, or you come from the wrong side of the tracks, or you're never going to be able to do that, or your brother's smarter, or, you have the looks but not the brains, or whatever. So somebody has put you in a box, put a ceiling over you, etc., and you have believed that. Sometimes people think, I'm too young and I haven't been to the right school. Other times people think it's too late for me and I should have tried 20 years ago and what have you. So they just have limiting beliefs. So basically whatever you believe will be your reality. So you just need to change your reality. So you just need to listen to better things, podcasts, YouTube in the morning, but obviously positive things. Maybe do I am affirmations. You could listen to some until you can do your own better. But yeah, people they have fear, right? It's easier to, not easier, but it is, I guess, to kind of stay hidden. Instead of like being judged by, like, obviously people jump on here. And so let's just say somebody judges them and is like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, or I knew her back in the day, or only X amount of people are watching and she probably thinks more people are watching, or what have you. They just live in fear and they would just rather not put themselves out there for whatever it is. Maybe they love cooking and they want to start a cooking show, but nobody watches it for 2 years, but at least they keep going at it. They don't give up, right? Even if you have failures, so to speak, they're only really failures if you don't keep going, you don't try again. Like, I don't know all the stats, but Michael Jordan, let's just say I have no idea them, 12,800 shots, 3-pointers, whatever, but he missed a whole bunch too. Doesn't mean he gave up and was like, oh, I better retire now. He kept going. Again, don't quote me on those stats. I have no idea those stats for him. But same with like people for movies and best-selling books and whatever. They get rejected by tons of people, but they don't let it get to them. They just keep going, right? So don't worry about what anybody thinks. The only person that really matters what they think is yourself. So just tell yourself good things, okay? And you'll get good things in life. But thank you for asking, Danielle. I'm reminding people about the mortgage rent giveaway because we're on the last leg of it. So again, Monday, it's Wednesday today, and Sunday night is the deadline to nominate whoever you like in Simcoe County to get their mortgage paid or their rent paid up to $2,500. So send us an video or just a written submission to info@crippshomes.com. Again, info@crippshomes.com. And this Sunday at midnight is the deadline, and Monday morning at 9 a.m. We'll knock on somebody's door on Facebook Live on my Facebook here, Kristin Cripps, and surprise somebody or two if their rent or mortgage is less than $2,500. You should give me a book. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Paria. I would love to have one. Thank you. Okay. So what do I have? Oh yeah, one thing for my dad, if he's still on, which I don't know if he is. The last thing is for my dad. So most people, obviously, if they think they went blind, it's forever, right? However, there is, people can be blind from cataracts, and that's only a couple minutes surgery that makes them then have sight again. So there's 2 ophthalmologists that started doing cataracts for free in the 90s, and they're still doing it now. So they do over 200 cataracts a day for people and for free. And back in the day, they used to be $250 to buy the cataract, but now they have somebody like local making them. So they're only $25. but obviously saves. But again, they do 200 for free a day, and they do them in Guyana, Bhutan, India, Ethiopia, and Myanmar, which I don't even know where that is. There's something beeping in my condo. Anyways, if you guys, hi Blair, how are you? Blair, I don't know if you got the email I sent or Tiff from my office sent you, but it shows a bunch of talks that I did for you. Hope you guys are well. If you guys want to see the stats because you missed them already, it'll stay on my Facebook wall again, just goes over what's been happening. Some weeks I'm super stat and super local. Sometimes I'm all of Ontario. Sometimes I'm Canadian stats for real estate, and I always have some happy news. I hope you guys stay well. We have multiple lives this weekend for homes that we have listed in Angus, Severn, Barrie, Washago, etc. So check them out on Saturday and Sunday. And Monday, check out who we give the free mortgage payment to, up to $2,500. You can watch, and again, you can nominate somebody until Sunday night. Okay? Hope you guys are amazing. Stay safe. Have a great day.